Hello and welcome to Off Topic with Mike and JD. I'm JD.
And I'm Mike.
And welcome to Season 1.5. That's right, not quite Season 2, but a step up from Season 1. What's different now? Well, now I'm a bit more comfortable on camera, so I'm going to try new things. And you probably heard that new theme song we have. That was written by my brother-in-law, Brian Green of the band Amber Lamps. His Instagram is going to be in the It's going to be in the description of the video. Mike, you have anything to say?
Absolutely. We're finally out of beta and ready to be released to the public.
And so for our first show, we're going to talk about all that new Star Wars news that we got on the Disney events today. And boy, was there a lot of it.
Yeah, I will admit, even I was pretty staggered by the amount of just sheer volume of content that they announced on their investors meeting.
It took me a couple of days to find out about everything, because I would find out one thing, and then a day later, oh wait, I missed that news. There was just so much news coming in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when you get spoiled for Christmas and you're just like, oh my goodness, I haven't had time to process and enjoy this one gift, and now you're giving me 6 more.
So one of the things that I'm personally excited about is the Acolyte, because I is exploring a time period we haven't really seen much in anything apparent. I've heard, and not even in Legends, the High Republic. So that's something.
Exactly. Yeah.
The
High Republic is
something different.
Yeah, it's something that hasn't been touched on in really almost any of the books, even in Legends. There was a little bit of stuff exploring Palpatine's origins in Legends, but really not too much touching on this, because the weird thing about it is the High Republic is set in an era of peace. In Phantom Menace, they explained that after the Sith were supposedly eliminated, there was no wars as the Republic was reformed, and there was just a millennium of total peace. So it's kind of weird to think of Star Wars while there's no war happening. But it'll be interesting. I think it'll give them a chance to explore a lot of unique ideas that they don't have anything to kind of weigh them down. But it's a curious thing. And the Acolyte I'm also very excited about. Like you mentioned, I think it'll potentially explore Palpatine's master, Darth Plagueis, and if it does, then that's something I'm very excited to see. Also, we don't really get a ton of Star Wars from a villainous perspective, so that could potentially be pretty cool as well. And I also like the creator of it. She made Russian Doll, a very strange but very good Netflix show. So I think they're taking a risk, going with a bit more bizarre style, which I think could pay off greatly. Yeah, exactly. I think overall it kind of speaks to what I call the Marvelification of Star Wars. They're taking it in a different direction rather than having kind of one linear narrative. They're just kind of throwing everything at the wall and seeing what sticks. This is their smorgasbord of Star Wars. You got a little bit of X-Wing stuff. You got a little bit of Sith stuff, a little bit of Jedi stuff, rather than talking about Episode 10, right? No one's talking about Episode 10. Yeah. We're all excited about various different projects, so that maybe I don't like Visions, but I wind up loving the Acolyte or something like that. Yeah, I think the one I'm probably the most excited for is the Rangers of the New Republic, just because I grew up on a lot of the Legends books, so I'm excited to explore that sort of unfilled gap between episodes 6 and 7. I felt like we didn't really get to marinate in our victory at Endor. Yeah, because as far as we know, we won this battle, Empire gone, oh wait, Empire's back. You don't really see much of that. They mention it here and there in The Mandalorian, New Republic, but he also says, oh, that's a joke. They don't really go into them.
One thing I am not excited for though is Andor. Like, I liked Rogue One, but I don't know. I don't feel we need any more of that character.
Yeah, Andor is interesting because it was a series that was announced a while ago. Like, pretty much since Rogue One came out, they've been, like, talking, there's been rumors and stuff like that. I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt because I didn't think I would like Rogue One. When they first talked about Rogue One, I didn't think I would like that, and it turned out to be one of my favorite pieces of new media from Disney. So I'm willing to give it the benefit of the doubt, but like you said, I don't really feel like... I felt like we got to know the Andor character, so I don't really feel like we need a ton more of that. And it's also set during kind of the most explored time. Like, all right, yeah, the rebels, we're fighting Empire. Like, I feel like we've seen that, you know.
Yeah.
So
it feels like another Solo, to be honest. Like, it's like the same thing. A character we already saw enough of, in a time period we also already saw enough of, and just such an unnecessary backstory. That's what I feel about that one.
Right. Exactly. Especially because we already know that, spoiler alert, the character dies at the end of Rogue One. So there's nothing really that they can like bring forward with the character. It has to be all backstory. And
yeah.
I always kind of hate... I always hate that when you already know like where the story is leading to. And usually it winds up undermining their arc. Like you mentioned Solo, it's like, all right, we already know Cassian kind of is this mercenary. He's kind of like a heartless assassin for the rebellion.
Shooting his own friends.
And like, right, and then, he gains hope, through meeting Jyn Erso in the course of Rogue One. So it's like, if he's a bad guy, then like that's not as interesting to watch. He's just kind of a jerk. Or if he was already nice, then that kind of undermines Rogue One.
Yeah, it's like I said. I mean, like, I'll give it.
I'll
definitely watch it, but I'm not like excited for that one.
I will make a minor exception only because I am very excited to see more K2SO.
Oh, he was the best part of Rogue One. Like,
he is one of my favorite sassy droids.
Like, I think Honest Trails made a joke that the robot is the character in Rogue One with the most personality, and it is true. He is by far the best character in that movie. I am interested in seeing more of him.
Yeah, exactly.
But let's see.
So
I do like Patty Jenkins' X-Wing movie. What do you? A Patty Jenkins X-Wing movie.
Yeah,
I like that idea.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I'm excited for all these. Let's be honest, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I will watch anything Star Wars. I will say I didn't grow up reading the Michael J. Stackpole X-Wing novels, and like I'm more into the mythology of the Jedi and the Sith. So like I'll watch any Star Wars movie, but I'm probably the least excited about X-Wing TIE Fighter stuff. But it will always be cool to see, like, I love, like, dogfights. I love, I'm sure there'll be really awesome, settings and characters that, we'll fall in love with. Also, I won't touch on it too much because I'm sure we'll explore it in another episode, but a lot of people had mixed feelings about Wonder Woman, so, we'll see if she finishes making this movie.
Wonder Woman 1 was great, though. Wonder Woman 1 was great.
I won't make a judgment call either way because I feel like Lucasfilm has a bad habit of like director does unpopular thing and then is immediately fired and they change everything, and I don't want them to do that. I think Patty Jenkins is a phenomenal director. They should keep her, and I want to see that movie. I think I'm curious. Have you ever seen the Star Wars? I think it's called Forces of Destiny. Those just like short little anime bits where they like recap famous Star Wars moments in anime style. I think I might have seen like one of them. I've heard. Yeah, they're like just like 1 or 2 minute shorts recapping. Yeah, they're really well done, and I think that Visions, Star Wars Visions, I'm thinking it's going to be basically a full length version of that, like a very anime inspired Star Wars. And if that's the case, I'm very excited about that. because I always felt like with the Kurosawa samurai flavor of the original Star Wars, like you could really make an awesome Star Wars anime with that.
That is definitely true.
So we'll see. I mean, I reserve judgment. It could be just the weirdest Star Wars, but you know, we'll see if it's any good.
Now, has there been any news on who's gonna be in Lando? Is it Donald Glover, Billy Dee Williams, both?
I would say they've said that it's going to be both. So I'm assuming it's going to be like a Adventures of Indiana Jones situation where it's like we're sitting on the couch with old Lando and he pulls out a hologram and is like, I remember the time when I stole the golden crystal of Agadim, and you know, then we flash back to Donald Glover doing that.
Well, Donald Glover was one of my favorite parts of Solo. Like watching that movie, I'm watching the movie, I'm like, why isn't this the Lando movie? Because one, his performance is amazing, but two, Lando is a character we don't know as well as Han Solo, so like, there's still a whole level more mystery of him. Like we know, he ended up as the leader of Cloud City, but like, we also knew he was a scoundrel at one point. Like, so even though we know where he ends up, it'd be very interesting to see how exactly did he end up there.
Right. I'm very excited. I agree with you that, you know, Donald Glover was easily the best part of Solo. I definitely think it should be his movie. The real question that I have is it going to be a prequel, kind of, like you said, like telling us more about what was he like before, you know, he met Han, what was this all about? Or is it going to be kind of a stealthy Solo 2, but actually it's Lando this time? You know, is it going to go forward with the idea of like Maul running the criminal syndicate and like Kira and like we see the adventures of Lando in that time period? Or is it going to be like Lando's origin story, for lack of a better word?
Honestly, I would be excited to watch either one of those.
Me as well. I will say the only thing I'm not super pumped about is I did not like the L3 character. I thought she was kind of annoying. Like, it was touching when, like, she died, but then, like, she got put into the Millennium Falcon, and, like,
that was
I don't really want them to, like, I don't want them to go back to that, and, like, then he's like, oh, no, I missed the Millennium Falcon because I missed, like, I hope they just steer clear of that, like, it was a thing that happened, let's not dwell on it. I think it should just be about, you know, Lando, like you said, being a scoundrel, being a gambler, you know, at most, maybe we see how he gets Cloud City, but in everything else should be new stuff.
Yeah. Any other series you want to talk about that particularly strikes a note with you?
I mean, well, we haven't talked about the one that a lot of people are the most excited about, and that's Kenobi.
See,
how are you feeling about Kenobi?
I have a lot of mixed feelings about that. Love Ewan McGregor as Kenobi, even though I don't like the prequels that much. His performance was great. However, I'm just kind of like, what exactly is he going to be doing here? I don't know. Like, I feel like it might kind of break canon. Like, if he's doing too much.
Right. I think you pretty well articulated most people's thoughts on it. I am like unbelievably excited to, you know, have a Kenobi movie because I love Ewan McGregor. I also feel like there's almost 100% chance that we get Liam Neeson as Force Ghost Qui-Gon, which I've always wanted.
Speaking of which, I literally just read an article that said he hasn't been approached by it, but he would definitely be open to returning.
Which, in my mind, is like a soft confirmation, because I feel like they would be crazy to pass that up.
Yeah, especially because
but like,
hasn't it been confirmed that he's the one who kind of is the first one to discover how to become a Force Ghost?
Right, exactly. He invented like the idea of like becoming a Force Ghost, or at least he was the first Jedi to do that. So
it would be kind of weird not to have him come back as a Force Ghost.
Right. In fact, one of my most frustrating Star Wars deleted scenes is there was a scene at the end of Revenge of the Sith where Qui-Gon shows up as a Force Ghost and like teaches Obi-Wan how to become a Force Ghost. But Liam Neeson was in a motorcycle accident, so he couldn't reprise his role, so they cut that whole part and just had Yoda explain it. But I'm like, I always wanted that. I'm like, special edition, give me that scene. So now there's a chance we'll get it. But like
So
you
we
mentioned,
might
I
finally
think
get that scene.
I do have a lot of reservations about breaking canon because there's really only two ways this can go. It's either a story about him chilling on Tatooine, fighting off Tusken Raiders, or like basically a feature-length episode of The Mandalorian type thing, or it's him like fighting Darth Vader, which is almost definitely what it's going to be. Somehow they're going to be like, oh well, I'm still kind of the learner, and I'm fighting you, and so they're going to find some way to totally break canon and have him fight Darth Maul and Darth Vader simultaneously, or something crazy like that.
Mm-hmm. And then the also thing is like, even in canon, his like disguise was pretty lame to begin with. Oh, I'm going by Ben now, but still using the same last name. And now if you add to the fact that he's not acting like he's a ghost, like he's acting in like he's doing prominent stuff, like it just makes it too hard to believe that how did they not find him sooner?
Exactly.
But what do you think about Ahsoka?
Yeah, especially I mean, this is going to be a controversial moment of the podcast because I don't really like Ahsoka. Like, I know everyone is obsessed with Ahsoka. I meet all the people. Everyone's like, oh, Ahsoka's the best character ever. She's so cool. She's so awesome. I don't know. Maybe I was just, like, not the right age to, like, grow up with the character. Maybe it was because she wasn't in the movies and she was kind of shoehorned in later, and she has a lot of plot armor because Filoni doesn't want that character to die. I never connected with that character. She always kind of felt like, a forced inclusion. But now, I mean, I'm warming up. Like, she was awesome in The Mandalorian. I liked her in Rebels. So I'm acclimating to the character as just like a piece of canon, rather, because the more stuff she's in, the more kind of natural it feels to have her there. So I'm okay with it. I hope her plot armor goes away. I don't want her to just always be amazing at everything. But I think it'll surprise me, especially if they bring back Thrawn or they tie up any of the Rebel stuff. Like, I loved Rebels, so if they kind of make her the new figure that like carries on that storyline, I think it could be really cool.
Nah, yeah. And let's see what we haven't talked about Book of Boba Fett. That one looks great. Like, I know in our previous discussion of season 1, I complained how they wasted Ming-Na Wen, but like in season 2, her character actually finally does stuff, and she's pumped. I'm very excited to see her be a main character in Book of Boba Fett, and of course Boba Fett's return in Mandalorian was just phenomenal, and I'm very excited to see where they take the character.
So, with the regard to the Book of Boba Fett, I feel like Boba Fett's another character that kind of grew on me. At first I was like, whatever, he looks kind of cool, but like he's just a random bounty hunter. Like, I always thought he was like an overhyped character. But after seeing Tamora Morrison's performance in The Mandalorian, I am fully on board for this like samurai warrior version of Boba Fett. So I'm very excited, and like you said, I'm super happy to see Ming-Na Wen is not actually dead. So that was a nice surprise too. I think my only real question is what ground they're going to cover. I feel like this is not a continuing series. Like, there's only going to be one season of it, so I'm like, are they going to cover how he escaped the Sarlacc pit, or like how he became a crime boss, or what are they going to do with him? Is he going to be a good guy, a bad guy? That's my only question. But I think regardless of where they take it, I'm excited to see it, and I think it'll probably be a little bit of both. I think there'll be like flashbacks to him escaping. I actually think it would be cool if they brought in Daniel Logan, who played young Boba Fett in Attack of the Clones. I think it would be cool if they brought him in the armor for flashback scenes, and then have Tamora Morrison play older Boba Fett, sort of in his crime lord days, similar to kind of what they're doing with Lando. I think that'd be cool.
That would definitely be interesting. And as far too as whether good guy or bad guy, it seems like neither. Like, I think like they kind of made the Mandalorian anti-hero, but he became pretty heroic. I think Boba Fett is gonna be a true anti-hero. Like, he'll help people out, but he's still a jerk. Like, he he'll fit more into anti-hero than traditional hero.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm sure we're missing a show, but I can't think of any shows worth forgetting. What about you?
Yeah, I think those are the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head. I'm sure
there's that animated one, New Batch, a Bad Batch.
Oh, the Bad Batch. I can't comment. I haven't seen the final season of Clone Wars, which is apparently where they first appeared. They're like an elite group of clones. I mean, I'll watch it eventually. It seems like they're really popular characters. They're like, Delta Force, kind of a new take on the Republic Commandos, but I'm not excited for that because like I said, I haven't seen the characters before. So, but I'm sure once I've seen Clone Wars, I'll be very excited to watch that.
That's definitely a show that I'll see eventually, but it's not going to be one of the shows that I'm like, yes, it's finally starting.
Right, exactly.
And like I said, I'm sure we're missing something because there was just so much there. How could we not be missing something? But
so much to talk about, and it blends together too because they announced this and also they announced all the Marvel stuff and.
Yeah, but I think we covered everything that we really wanted to cover. I think.
Yeah, I think we got all the major notes. So if you want, we'll call that a podcast.
All right. Yes, and now you get to see the new credits that are going to play after this. So enjoy them. Bye.